the content is the same. So we can speak about that whole sphere, that content industry. You have different workers of that content industry. Some are dancing folk dances, others are doing string quintets, the third are doing I don't know what, but all the fifth are giving lectures in the university, but all together this is the content industry. If you want, intellectual industries are producing contents. And if it's the case, I mean, we can handle them together as content industries with that particular difference that naturally the holders of those contents should be different. Can be a dance, a book, a collective memory, I don't know, a building, a designed product, etc. But I mean, those material holders of those contexts should be different. At the same time, the essence of that is the same. So therefore, the idea is to handle the content industry together, not to speak about blocks, I don't know, computer-based education, DVDs and television, because they are practically using the same content in different forms and ways. The technical processing is different. So if we are focused on the cultural side of the story and not on the technical side of it, if we concentrated on the technical side, that is quite easy, because naturally, I mean, DVD industry is DVD industry, and naturally, I don't know, production of educational hardware is production of educational hardware. That's quite understandable. But if you're looking at the cultural substance, I mean, the content, we have an integrated concept of those industries. In a way like that, naturally, I mean, it's not simply integration. You have that sort of complicated networks of interrelations. Yes. Yeah, naturally, it's a primitive illustration. How is it looking like? Because I mean, if you look at those content industries, naturally you have plenty of economic, social, and political institutions having an effect on those content processing facilities. Look, for example, three types of, I mean, look at the red blocks. These are three different types of cultural industries. You have motion, picture, and radio, so movie and radio and television. I mean, those are the radio and TV stations. Here you have publishing and recorded media, so DVDs, records, newspapers, journals. And you have the third one, libraries, museums, arts. I mean, in that source which I was using here, libraries, museums, arts, don't forget that it's, I mean, I took that drawing from 96, 97. So libraries, museums, arts are not integrated into those business and communication environments. But you see education, communications, business services, hotels and cafes, sport and gambling, government, etc. So they had an impact on the radio and TV. They are interrelated as services, as mutual services with the radio and TV stations and with the recording industry, of course, including printing press. That time, the museums, libraries were not part of that network. Now even those are taken into. So even, I mean, in the 90s, libraries, museums were more traditional cultural institutions. Now they are again parts of that story. By the way, I mean, sometimes, I mean, for you, I mean, for people from the cultural studies, it's maybe funny, more funny than interesting, that, by the way, I mean, I think there is also stuff there in these libraries. So you have modern papers on the economies of libraries and economies of museums. And I remember one paper which is showing that, I mean, in the modern American museums, I mean, the cities, naturally, they are giving monies to the city museums, but they are asking them to be much and more, be self-reliant, so to survive in an economic term. Yes, they can get a gift, a new painting, or I don't know what, which is paid by the state, but as an institution, they must think about the heating, the ladies, watching, etc. To work as an institution. And that paper, that American paper, shows that for many very well-known big American museums, the museum cafeteria is becoming a very important institution. So they keep the cafeteria, and they even trying to make the cafeteria fancy for the city, in the sense that you are, not only, you come to the museum, a nice exhibition, you're coming with your family, and after that you can have a meal. In Germany it's very popular. So you have a meal there. But even more, you can go to those places even for dating without any visiting effort at the museum. For example, I'm very often in Berlin, and I was working in an institute in the WCP, which is at the New National Gallery, and I used to date even with girls in the shop of the cafe, so in the cafe shop of the museum, without visiting the museum, because you're not visiting the museum every week, but you can date there every week. So it's and it's naturally it's money for the museum. Naturally, if you have major exhibitions, part of the paintings or art objects taken from abroad, etc. Part of the costs are covered by catalogs, different gadgets, I don't know what, pencils with Matisse, and I don't know, diaries with Picasso, and so on and so forth. These are all, doing the museums part of that network in a way, as a printing industry or record studios were part of that. So it means that these interdependencies not only exist, but they are becoming more and more rich. So the system is becoming more and more closed. And then we have this guy, his name is Richard Florida. He is now not in the States but in Canada, but he's Florida, who thinks about that network which I was showing to you as about a creative industry, an industry like car industry. And you can measure the efficiency of that car industry in a way like the creative industry. And have a look at. So Florida wrote a well-known book which called The Rise of the Creative Class, which shows that instead of the discussions about the intelligentsia, what we used to have all in those societies, so instead of the model of instead of that to be just a professional like a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer, we have a new creative class following Florida's definition, and look at the definitions. So first of all, you have sectoral definitions by sectors. R&D, it means research and development, software, film, video games, architecture and art. They are all industries with tens of thousands of people and with a growing market. Maybe it's well known for you, maybe not, or you're using the stuff but you're not thinking about the economy of that story, but video games is becoming a major industry with millions of dollars and euros or milliards in that game. You have thousands of artists working for those games. So practically the game industry is becoming a cultural factor. You have hundreds of papers in the cultural studies trying to describe the video games as a cultural factor. Very often, by the way, you see, it's one of the many theories. I'm not saying this is the theory, but you have child's violence. You have violence among youngsters and even among children.